Hello everyone. This time we are going to learn structured query language, that is Introduction to SQL. This is again part of Unit 3, Class 12 Computer Science. In the previous topic we have learned what is a database, what are its advantages, what is DBMS, which type of software is DBMS, what are the features, what are the advantages, and further we have learned different type of database models, either it is hierarchical model, network model, or relational databases. Then further we learned in depth that what is relational databases and what are the components of a database in relational databases, what is tuple, what is records, what it attributes, degree, cardinality. So many things we have learned in the previous topic, and also we have learned different types of keys, either it is primary key, foreign key, candidate key, alternate key. Okay, this time we are going to implement these things. We are going to create practically a table, a database in our computer. And how we can do all these things using this structured query language. It is a programming language which help us to write commands or give commands to create tables, create databases, modify tables, add rows, add columns. Okay, so many features it is having, and today we are going to learn all these things. First, we should know that structured query language is a unified non-procedural language. Non-procedural language means like any programming language, say for example Python programming language, needs to be written, commands to be written in a bulk, okay, in a procedure, and all commands get executed one by one. That is known as procedural language. But here SQL is non-procedural language because we have to give commands here, not the blocks, not the block of statements. Here we have to give commands, one command for one type of work. Okay, so it is known as non-procedural language used, and it is used for creating, accessing, handling, managing data in relational databases. Okay, those who have not knowing what is relational databases, please see the previous video, that is relational databases. Okay, now see here, we are giving you some introduction, some knowledge about how it is evaluated or evolved through the years and how we have come to SQL language. Database Management System, DBMS, are first implemented in 1960. It is first implemented in the year 1960 as well. Okay, with time database technologies evolved a lot, while usage and expected functionalities of database increased immensely. Nowadays there is no organization which does not manage its data and records using subtype of DBMS. It means that almost every organization uses some type of DBMS software. Either it is MySQL software, either it is Microsoft SQL Server, either it is Oracle, Sybase. So many types of databases are available in the market these days. Okay, and each and every organizer, almost every organization are using some type of database management system software to manage their data, their organization's data. For example, you can see here an online telephone directory. Online telephone directory uses DBMS to store data pertaining to people, phone number, and other contact details. Your electricity service provider, electricity bill provider, a database is they are using to manage billing system, client related issues, and handling fault data. Okay, these are all manageable with the help of database management system. Okay. Now understand further what is SQL. SQL, the full form of SQL is Structured Query Language, and it is a standard language for accessing and manipulating databases. SQL commands are used to create, transform and retrieve information from relational database management systems, okay, RDBMS systems. A SQL language can only be used with relational databases. It does not work with hierarchical model databases or network model databases. It works only on relational databases where tables are created and store data in the form of rows and columns. So there it is used to create tables. We can create tables, add records, modify data, remove rows or drop tables. These functions are available with the help of SQL. In short, SQL is Structured Query Language, is a unified non-procedural language. We have discussed about it. Usage used for creating, accessing, handling and managing data in relational databases. Okay. Now, features of SQL. So many features are there in SQL. SQL is the most common language used to create, operate, update, manipulate and communicate with databases. SQL is specially designed to communicate with databases only and of relational type databases where data is stored in form of tables, rows and columns. Okay, it is a programming language. It is a non-procedural language. Commands is to be given to access, to use databases. In 1970, SQL was developed by Donald D. Chamberlain and Raymond F. Boyce at IBM. Where it is developed? It is developed at IBM in 1970s. Thus, SQL is the fourth generation non-procedural language that is used to create, manipulate and process databases. In other words, these languages described what data is to be retrieved, inserted, updated or deleted from a databases. So, in short, SQL help us to manage databases, relational databases. How? So, using SQL, we can retrieve data depending on some criteria, filter data from databases, insert new data, update some old data, existing data, or if data is no more needed in the databases, we can remove those data also. Now, understand some salient features and strong processing capabilities of SQL. Features of SQL. See here, it can retrieve data from database through query processing. It can retrieve data, filter data. Okay, in databases, so many large amount of data is there, and using SQL we can give criteria and accordingly it can fetch, retrieve data from that databases. It can insert records in databases, add new records. It can update records in the databases. We can update existing data. It can create new databases and modify the existing. It can create new tables in the database. It can create views in a database. It allows modifying the security settings of the system. These features are available. Some advantages are also of SQL is there. Ease of use. First of all, first and most major advantage of SQL is ease of use. It is very easy to learn and use and does not require any previous programming language knowledge. Okay, so directly, if you are not knowing any other languages, then you can directly learn this SQL language, and easily you can learn this language. Large volume of databases can be handled quite easily. No coding required. No coding means no programming structures or statements to be large. Number of statements, set of statements is to be required to be written to work with SQL. So it is non-procedural and unified language. We need not specify procedures. Procedures means list of commands, set of commands. Instead, we give one commands to accomplish a task. Okay, a simple separate commands. SQL can be linked to most of the other high-level languages, which makes it first choice for programming language. Portability, it is portable. Portable means it is compatible with other databases programs like DBase4, FoxPro, MS Access, DB2, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, Sybase. Means large number of database softwares, DBMS softwares are available, and SQL is seemingly easily available in all these database management system softwares. Okay, all are using SQL to manage to retrieve their data from the databases. And one of the most interesting feature of this SQL language is that SQL is not case sensitive language. Not case sensitive it means that capital letters and small letters are same for SQL. Okay, there is no difference between capital letters and small letters. You can give commands in capital letters also, you can give commands in small letters also, so both will work as same. Okay. Classifications of SQL statements. Now there are so many SQL statements are large number of statements are there, so these statements are categorized under some categories, some groups. And what are those groups? The SQL statements or commands that we type are statements that are regarded as instructions. Commands, statement means instructions to the databases. SQL provides different types of statements or commands for different purposes. And what are those purposes? SQL statements, our first category is data definition language. What is that? Data definition language, in short we can say DDL. Data manipulation language, in short we can say DML. And data control language, this is DCL. And transaction control language, DCL. DDL, DML, DCL, TCL. These are the categories of SQL statements. However, we are learning only here DDL and DML commands as per our syllabus. Only two types of commands we are going to learn here as per our syllabus. Okay. So first is data definition language, DDL language, DDL command language. Okay, what is this? The DDL part of SQL permits database tables to be created or deleted. Okay, it also defines indices, keys, specifies links between tables and imposes constraints on tables. It contains the necessary statements for creating, manipulating, altering, deleting the table. Actually, in short, we can say that DDL language, data definition language, is used to create the structure of the table of the database. Here we using this set of commands, we can create table, we can create databases, we can make changes in table, make changes in databases. Okay, and also we can, if databases or tables are not needed, we can remove, we can delete those databases. Okay, so DDL commands are mostly of type like drop commands. Drop commands are categorized as DDL commands, create command and alter command. These are the DDL commands. Okay, drop, create or alter. The commands which starts with these words are categorized as DDL commands. And DML commands are select, insert, update and delete. These four statements are DML commands. Okay, now some examples of DDL commands in SQL are create database command. Create database, it is used to create new databases. Means the commands which help us to build a structure, build a base for different types of works. Those commands are DDL commands. Say examples: create database, use command, create table command, alter table command and drop table command. These are the DDL commands. Now DDL command let us define the database structure and its related operations. The DDL provides a set of definitions to specify the storage structure and access methods used by database system, and also defines proper and relevant data types. we will learn these things, what are data types. So now come to data manipulation language, DML commands. Okay, data manipulation language or commands, DML, is a part of SQL that helps a user access or manipulate data. Access means once using DDL commands, we have created a structure and created the tables, databases, all the records are available there. Then further DML commands help us to access those data depending on some criteria, depending on some tables, okay, these things. And also we can manipulate data. Manipulate means in the sense that we can modify data, we can change some details, we can delete rows, delete data if not needed. These features are provided by DML commands. The DML statements are executed in the form of queries, which are handled by the DML compiler. It contains set of statements to retrieve data from the tables of data. If we are retrieving data using select statement from table or database, then this is we are giving DML command. In data, inserting data, insert data into table of the database. If we are inserting means adding new data in a table or a database, then we are using DML commands. Delete data from tables. If data are no more needed in a table, then we can remove those data, and this can be done with the help of DML commands. Next one is update data among the rows or records in the table of the database. If we are making some changes, if data is incorrect there and we are making changes, then this can be done with the help of DML commands again. Okay, several DML commands are available, and those commands are like that: select statement, okay, insert into statement, update statement, and delete statement. Select statement, why it is used? To extract information from the table, to retrieve information from the table. And insert into, to add new records in the table. Update system, to modify or make changes in the data in the table. And delete, as the name suggests, it deletes data or removes data from the table. Now DML commands carry out query processing operations and manipulate data in the database objects. The query and update commands form the DML part of the SQL. They enable the user to access or manipulate data stored in a database. Now we are giving here differences between DDL and DML commands, how we can differ, that what are DDL commands and what are DML commands. We already know about these things, but here major differences are given here. See, DDL commands. DDL stands for data definition language and DML stands for data manipulation language. DDL commands allows us to perform tasks related to data definition. Data definition means structure of the data, data type, okay, table, creation of database. Okay, that is related to the structure of the database objects. Structure, foundation part of the database. The examples of DDL commands are create, alter, drop, grant, revoke. Okay, now DML commands are used to manipulate data. Okay, means retrieve. We can retrieve data, we can update data. These type of commands. Records or rows in a table or relation. Examples of DML commands are insert into, update, delete, select. These are the examples. DDL is not further classified. DDL command is not further classified, means DDL commands are fixed and only one category of DDL command is there. But in DML commands, further two classification is there: procedural DMLs and non-procedural DMLs. Okay, some commands of DML commands can be used in programming also, procedural programming also, and lots of non-procedural commands are also available there. So they are okay. Now to use these commands, we will use MySQL Database Management System software as prescribed in the syllabus. MySQL. It is a relational database management system software. See here. MySQL is an open source and freely available relational database management system RDBMS that uses structured query language SQL. It provides excellent features for creating, storing, manipulating and accessing data stored in the form of databases, tables and their respective tables. Being an open source software, it is freely and easily downloaded from the site www.mysql.org. I suggest all of you before going further in this topic here, you must download this MySQL software and install in your computer. MySQL is developed and supported by Sweden-based company MySQL AB. The company name is MySQL as well. MySQL AB. MySQL database system works upon client-server architecture. It allows us to work with the which type of architecture? Client-server architecture. And you can say, for example, if you are not understanding what is client-server architecture, then you can understand here that internet is also a type of client-server architecture. Means there is a server where all the data is stored, and client means the user of internet uses a request in server to retrieve some information. This type of architecture provides us the MySQL. So it is very powerful database relational database management system software. And also the feature is that it is open source and freely available. There is no need to purchase this software, and it is open source. Open source means its source code is also available, and you can modify this software as per your need. And these are the major features of MySQL. So most of the companies I have seen that they use MySQL, and it is freely available. So we are going to learn this MySQL language. So many advantages. Other advantages of MySQL is also there. See, what are those advantages? First is reliability and performance. MySQL is very reliable and high performance relational database management system. Modifiable. Being an open source software, MySQL comes with its source code, so it is easily modifiable, and we can recompile its associated source code. We can recompile, we can modify its features, its systems. Multi-platform support. MySQL supports several different platforms like Unix, Linux, Mac, Microsoft, Windows, GSP. On any platform this MySQL software can run. Powerful processing capability. MySQL is a powerful, easy, compatible and fast relational database management system. Integrity checks are there. MySQL provides various integrity checks in order to restrict the user input and processing. Integrity checks means we can provide null values, not null values, primary key, foreign key. This we can create. We can use default checks. So many integrity settings are there. While creating tables, so you can use these checks. Then authorization is there. MySQL provides DDL commands to check for users authentication or authorization by restricting access to relational and views. It means that someone who is not authorized, they are provided to use our database, MySQL databases. They are not able to modify the structure of any table. Even we can restrict to so that they cannot delete any information from our databases. These are the authorizing features. Okay, powerful language. All SQL operations are performed at a prescribed and fixed level. One select command can retrieve data from multiple rows. So it is very powerful language. Reliable. SQL provides a high level of a well-defined set of commands that provides the desirable results without any ambiguity. If you are giving correct command, then correct information you will get. And then ninth advantage is that freedom of data abstraction. Means SQL provides a greater degree of abstraction freedom compared to any other procedural language. Abstraction means here that we need not to know how data is stored in databases, what type of system is used to store the databases. Okay, this means this is known as abstraction, and we can use these features and greater, and it gives us freedom to know about don't know about the detail of the databases. Just simply give commands and you get the information then and there. Complete language for a database. It can also be used to create, insert, delete and control access to data in databases. It is said to be that it is a complete package for a database softwares. Okay, MySQLs. So many advantages are there. Next, now we have come here to know more about MySQL. Before we create tables, before we create database in MySQL, we must know the data types. It means that what data can be acceptable and what type of data we have to select during creating a table. Suppose we are creating a table for a student to store student information. Then so many types of data we have to store. Roll number we have to store. We have to store their name, their address, their marks. Okay, then which data type help us to do calculation? So say for example addition, subtraction. Okay, how to compute average? Then which data type we have to choose? These features are available in SQL. Now, just like any other programming language, the facility of defining data of various types is available in SQL also. SQL supports the following data types. SQL data types are numeric. Okay, there are only three data types: numeric, non-numeric or string, and date and time. Three data types are there. In SQL, each column of a table is assigned a data type which conveys the kind of value that will be stored in a column. Okay, and we know that in SQL, each and every information is to be stored in a table in rows and columns. So each and every column contains same type of data. So during creating a table, we have to define data type of each and every column, that which column can contain numbers, which column can contain date, which column can store alphabets or string type information. This we have to declare during creation of table. So we have to learn this data types. MySQL data types. See, first data type is integer. INTEGER, integer, small int, and numeric. These are all three data types gives us to store numeric type data types, numeric numbers. On numbers, those numbers which we want to do some calculation also in further, we can calculate those numbers. So these are the three different data types: integer, small int, and numeric. Integer, it can represent positive whole numbers up to 11 digits. Okay, and negative whole numbers up to 10 digits. The range of integer number is given here. This is the range of numbers we can store in the data in the field which we declared integer data type. And a small int, it is a 16-bit signed integer value that stores whole numbers in the range of this. Only 5 digits it can store, up to 5 digits. Okay, If numbers we have to store a small scale, a small range is there, then we can use a small int. Then numeric are stored in the given format, where x is the total number of digits and y is the number of places to the right decimal places. This is the numeric is used where we want to store decimal numbers, the numbers having decimal places. Say for example 45.86 like this. So we have, while giving data type, numeric data type, we have also defined these two values x and y, where x is the total number of digits we want, and y is the number of places, decimal places. Okay, this x gives the total number of digits including the decimal places, and y gives how many decimal places we need. For example, here given 8,2, then it contains numbers having 2 decimal digits. Okay, so in the given example, numeric data types stored a number that have 5 places before the decimal places and 2 digits after decimal and 1 digit place for decimal point. Decimal point also requires 1 digit, okay, 1 place. So numeric holds up to 20 significant digits. A negative number holds 1 place for the sign. Sign also needs 1 place. Okay, this is the thing. And decimal, one more numeric data type is available in MySQL, that is decimal, DECIMAL, decimal. Okay, it is also given in same format as we have given in numeric, x, y, the total number of digits x, and y, total number of decimal places it needs. Okay, now numbers stored in decimal format, where x is the size, total number of digits, and y is the precision, the number of decimal places. Same. Okay, numeric and decimal are equivalent. The data type numeric and the data type decimal are exactly same, equivalent. Okay, so to understand more about those things, here is given an example. Okay, suppose we have defined a field column like this, decimal 8,2. Then which number, up to which number, or how much numbers, how much big number can be stored in this here. See, understand that the value 8 is given here. It is the total number of digits including the decimal point and also the 2 decimal digits. Okay, the 2 is defined for 2 decimal digits. Okay, and 6 digits is allowed here to store the values. Total 8 digits like this you can give. Okay, now understand here, while defining data types for columns or attributes in a relation, 2 points should be kept in mind. First, when used fixed length character in column like phone number, area code, or use character data type, and when using variable length data in columns like name, address, post, use varchar data type. Now we are going to understand this in detail in next page. See, understand here, character data type, this is for fixed length data type. Okay, suppose employee code we have to store, which is having some alphabets also and numbers also. Say for EG01, EG02, EG03, like this. Then for that purpose we need character, char, we have to write char or char, this size. X size is to be given, we have to given. The size can be given up to 254 characters. The maximum size we can give in character data type is 254 characters. So it contains only character data type. Now next one is again character type data type, that is variable length, known as varchar. What is known as varchar? Var is given here, variable length of character type. Okay, so it can store any number of data, okay, any size, Just we have to mention the number of alphabets here. The number of alphabets, digits, how much we have to choose. Now understand here again that when you are using character data type, which is better, either char, char or the var, which is better. So if the data in which in a column we have to store fixed length of data, then and each data in column contains same number of digits, in say for example employee code or item code or some type of code or phone number like this, then we should use char data type or character data type, which provides us fixed length data type. And if we are using some name, address, which are variable length, means some persons are having name up to 10 alphabets, or some are having 20 alphabets also. So variation is there. Wherever there is variation, then we should use varchar data type. Okay, varchar data type. So, and in both char and varchar we have to give size. Size is to be given. Okay, how much we need, how much spaces or how much places we need. Size is to be given. Other data types are also there. Date, the date data type, to store date in a column we should use date data type, and the date should be given in this format. Why? First we have to give year, then month, then day, and it should be within single quotation mark. Okay, and the separated year, month and day must be separated by slashes, like this, YY MM DD format, like this, in single quotation mark. Then only it can store your data. Okay, year should be there. Then time can be stored on time format is like this, hour, then minute, and then second. Okay, like this, hour, minute and second. Hour must be given. Okay, and all these things must be separated by column. Hour, minute and second must be separated by column, and it should be in single quotation mark also. Okay, like this. Now Boolean data type. Boolean data type can contain only two values, true or false, and true or false, like this. We have to give either true T or Y for true values, T for true and Y for yes, and false F and N, like this you have to give. In a Boolean format, Boolean data type, we have to give either the value T or Y for truth value and F or N for false value. Okay, now there is also another type of data that is known as blob, raw or long raw, like this. This data type can store data up to maximum length of 65535 characters. Blobs are binary large objects and used to store large amount of data such as images, animations, clips and other types of files. For example, image raw 2000. Okay, here we have given to store pictures. Pictures can be stored. And again, next data type is memo or long. We can give long or memo. This data type allows storing characters or remarks up to 2 GB per record. If we have a large amount of value to store for particular row, then this memo or long data type is used, and it allows up to 2 GB of data can be stored in single field, single column. Okay, single place we can store so many data. So data types, how many data types we have learned? First we have learned numeric data types. There are 4 numeric data types: integer, small int, numeric and decimal. Okay, and then we have learned character data type. There are 2 different types of character data type: char and varchar. Okay, char is for fixed length and varchar for variable length, and both require size. And then finally we have learned so many other types of data type: date, time, boolean, and then blob, raw or long raw, and memo or long. Okay, so several types of data types are there, but most important data type commonly we use these data types. Okay, numeric we use, okay, decimal or numeric and same generally. Okay, char we used, varchar we used. Okay, and next date, then time, and sometimes boolean, and for large value then we can use memo. Okay, these are the common data types which we use during our practical sessions. Now we are going to learn SQL commands. SQL commands are predefined set of commands that help us to work with relational databases. Using these commands, we can query the relational databases, the tables, the rows or columns, and get or extract some information, filter some information from the databases. These SQL commands also help us to create tables, databases, okay, modify those databases, make some changes, and also allows us to remove or delete rows, columns, tables, okay, like this. So here we go to learn SQL commands. First we will know the basic terms used in SQL commands. The keywords. The first word is the keyword. Keyword refers to an individual SQL element that has a special meaning in SQL. For example, select, from, these are the keywords. Okay, keywords have some special meaning in SQL language. Next one is clause. Is a distinct logical part of SQL statement. Actually, a SQL statement contains different parts. So many parts is having a SQL statement, and those different parts, distinct parts, are known as clause. Some clauses are optional and some clauses are necessary to include in the command. Okay, we will one by one we will know all these things. Clauses begin with the keyword. Each and every clause begin with a keyword. Say for example, select. Select is a command, but the from word is a keyword and it is known as a clause. Okay, keyword for which they are named and consist of arguments as well. For example, see here, select employee number ename. This is the command, select is the command, and here we have added from employee, from table name we have given. From is the clause here, and again where clause we have added where salary is greater than 45,000, like this. So a command may have one or more clauses. Some clauses may be optional, okay, we can include or not include, or sometimes some clauses are necessary to include in a command. A statement or command is a combination of two or more clauses. Statements are basically the instructions given to SQL database for executing any task. For example, here select star from employee is an SQL statement. This complete is a statement. Select star from employee. Here star means all columns, all rows of the table, and in the from clause we have given the table name employee. If you are not familiar with this command, we will learn this in coming sections. Okay, now one important thing is here, an important point to remember here is that all statements in SQL terminate with a semicolon. Okay, so to first we have to write the SQL commands, then whenever we completed all the clauses, all the statements, all the names completed, given each and everything, then to execute the statement, the command, lastly we have to give the semicolon at the end of the statement, and then after giving the semicolon we have to press enter key. Then only this SQL command will get executed. Okay. Also, SQL is not case sensitive. Case sensitive means we can type either small letters or capital letters, both are same. Okay. Here you are seeing some statements is written in capital letters and some are in small letters. Okay. See here, example here. We have seen select star from employee. Some letters we have written capital, some letters we have written small. We can write all small, all capital, there is no problem, but here we have given a capital, the keywords or the clauses in capital letters to recognize easily. Okay, that's the thing. Here everywhere we are using capital and small both. Okay, for capital letters we are writing the commands and also the clauses, and in small letters the changeable values, the column names, the table names. Okay, these things we have written here. In all commands we are using this type of system. Okay, so don't confuse. We can write in capital letters, all small letters during practicals. See, first we are knowing here creating database. When we install MySQL in our computer, it comes with a scratch, means there is no database created. So first of all we have to create database, and we should know that a database contains all the tables and all the objects, rows and columns. So it is a container. Database is a container to contain tables and all those things. So first and foremost task is to create database. So the create database command, the create database command is used to create a database in RDBMS. Syntax for creating database is like this. First we have to write create database, then any name we have to give. Here we can give any name as per our choice. For example, we are giving here create database school. In the name of a school we are creating a database. Now, when the above mentioned commands get executed, as database with the name school will be created on the system. Now, to see, to verify that this database is created or not, we can use this command show databases command. Which command? Show databases command. And it will list you the name of the databases, all the databases which are available in MySQL application, and it will show you all the data, including this one school databases if you have created this. Okay, statement. Now continuing existing on the server. This is the command to create the database. So first and foremost task, we have to create a database. We recommend you that you should give the same name, the school name, creating the database. Okay, now to open the database, so if you want to create tables or you want to add rows, columns, then we have to open this database, and within this database we can create tables. So, it is similar like a folder. You are creating a folder on the desktop, and if you want to save some files or copy some files there, then you have to open that folder, then only you can create another folder or another file there. Okay, in the same way you have to open the database. To open the database we have to use command, use command, like this. The syntax is like this: use database name. We have created lastly the school database. Here we have to give is use school to open the database. Each and every statement must end with semicolon. You must notice that. Okay, each and every use school, and then press enter key. It will open the database. Okay, and then only we can create the tables. So for every time, each and every time when you open the MySQL application, first you have to give this use command, use school. Okay, then only other commands will work. Actually the create database command is to be given only once. Okay, only once. But next time, each time you open the MySQL application, you have to open these databases. Each and every time you have to give this command, use school command. Okay. Now, next, removing databases. If you want to remove any database, any additional, suppose you have created more than one databases and some databases are not needed anymore, then you can delete or remove that database, and the command is like this: drop database and database name. For example, drop database and the school we have given. Okay, this using this command you can remove any database. Now, SQL constraints. Actually, when we create a table to store data in relational databases, so before creating a table we should know these constraints. Means some constraints are there which makes that which enables us to define that this is a primary key column. This column contains some age related values. Okay, some columns may have given default value, or some column may have null values or not null values. Okay, these are the constraints which makes our database or the tables consistent. Consistent means if you add these constraints, the database will become consistent, and it will store data which are reliable, which we can trust that data. Okay, so constraints are the rules. To understand constraints, see here, constraints are the rules enforced on data and columns on the table. These are used to restrict the values that can be inserted into the table. Restrict in the sense that illegal values which are not valid, invalid values is restricted here. Suppose a date field is there and you want to enter 30th February, then this will automatically be restricted. Suppose there is an age field and you won't want to enter age above 100 years, then you can restrict that it will be less than or equals to 100, like this. Okay, each and every time you enter the age, it will check before saving the records in the database. Okay, see, this ensures data accuracy and reliability in the databases. So we should always use constraints. And what are those constraints? See here, the commonly used constraints in SQL is like this. First constraint is not null. What is this? Not null constraint. Not null allows us to store value. Okay, the column which is given this not null constraint, it must have some value before inserting any data. Okay, any row, any record. If you are inserting some record, you won't skip this field which is designated as not null. Then default constraint is there. Default constraint, it allows, if you won't give any value for a column, the default value will be inserted automatically. Unique constraint is there. Okay, to make that each and every row of that column must contain unique values. Okay, so unique constraint can be used. Primary key constraint is there. Primary key constraints makes the table or the column primary key, and the criteria for primary key is that each and every row of the value of that column is must be unique and must not be duplicated. Okay, this is the primary key. And foreign key constraint is there. Check constraint is there. We can use these constraints. Okay, see, in default constraint, what it does, it provides a default value for a column when no value is specified. Unique constraint ensures that all values in a column are unique Okay, there should not be any redundant value in a column which is being restricted. So if you are using unique constant, then you don't use primary key. If you are using primary key constant, then don't use unique key. These are interrelated with each other. Primary key also uniquely identifies each row and record in a database table. Foreign key uniquely identifies a row or record in any other databases. Actually, why two unique and primary key is given here? Because some column only one primary key can exist in a table, and so if you want unique values in other columns also, then you can give this unique constraint. Foreign key identifies rows or columns in other database tables. Check constant. The check constant ensures that all values in columns satisfies certain condition. A condition can be given, say for example, for age field, certain condition can be given. Okay. Now, here comes we to create a table in a database. So, to use this command, create table command, first you ensure that you have opened the database by using use command. Okay, it is used to create a table in a database. The syntax for creating table is like this. This is the syntax. Create table. Table name you have to give within a small bracket. You have to write column name, then data type, then size. If data type is needed size, then size is to be given, and then one or more than one column name can be given, and so on. We can add as many columns as we need, and each column must be preceded by the data type and the size of that column. Here we are giving you example. Suppose we want to create a table student with the following details: the roll number, name and gender and marks, and date of birth. Okay, 5 columns we are going to add with the name of the student table. So roll number is given data type integer, and we have mentioned that it should be not null and primary key. Okay, name is given varchar. These are the data types. We are going to understand these data types later. Okay, so it is also added the constraint not null. Then gender is given character type 1 size is 1. Okay, then marks is given integer type 11 size, and date of birth is given date data type is there. Okay, for each column a name and a data type. A name and a data type must be specified, and the column name must be unique in the table definition. Column definition are separated by comma. You must separate each and every column definition. Okay, these are the systems. Now, once you created the table, it only creates the structure of the table. It does not fill the rows automatically. Okay, only it will create the structure. So viewing a table and its structure, if you want to verify that table is created or not, okay, so then you can see the structure of that table you have created. So the command is show tables. Show table command is there, and also describe command is there. Show table will list the table names, all the table names which we have created in that particular database, and describe command is used to see the structure of the table. Okay, describe, then you have to give table name, or you can simply write all first 4 characters of the describe command, DESC, and then table name you have to give. For example, you have to see the structure of the student table, we have to write describe student table. Okay, we will show you practical also. First we know the commands here. Okay, then on it. Now we have come to inserting data into a table. See, the insert into command is used to insert a new record, row, tuple in a table. It is possible to write insert into a statement in the following different forms. There are several forms to insert some data in a table. Once the table is created, a structure is created, then we can insert rows in the table. And to insert rows, the insert into command is there, and insert into command can be used in different ways. The first way is like this: inserting the data for all columns in the table. Okay, for all columns at one time. Next way is that inserting the data directly into the table. Okay, there is no other process, just directly put the data in the table. We will discuss one by one. Inserting data into a specific column of a table. Suppose some column is left blank or left null, so that later we can add some value. Then later, to insert some value you specify the column name to insert data only in that particular column or columns. Inserting null values into a table. Some null values can be inserted. Okay, and how we can insert null values we will see here. Now see here, inserting data in all columns. The first way, this is the first way how we can use and it is the easiest way to insert data. In the first method, it does not specify the column names where the data will be inserted, only their values. Actually, insert into command can take both column names and also the values for the columns, so that the values is stored in that particular column one by one in an order. If you want to insert all the values in a column, okay, all columns, then this syntax is used. What is that syntax? See here, insert into table name, then values. Only you have to give table name, and then values you have to write, and within bracket all the values you have to give. If a table is having 5 columns, then all 5 values is to be given separated by comma. Okay, for example, suppose we want to insert one record for the student table, then we have to give command like this: insert into student values. 1 is given for roll number, Raj Kumar is given for name, and M4 given as category, gender. Okay, and 93 is given for marks, and this is given for date of birth. Okay, date of birth is given. See here, these are the syntax. If you are giving a name, then you have to enclose within quotation mark. If you given character, then you have to enclose within quotation mark, either single or double quotation mark. And if you are giving date, number is not required to be given in quotation mark. Okay, so 1 and 93 is written here without any quotes. Now if you are giving date, it should also be within quotation mark, and the format for date is like this: first you have to give year, then month, and then day, like this. Okay, now while inserting a row, if we are adding values for all the columns of the table, we need not specify the column names in the SQL query, but we need to make sure that the order of the values is in the same order as the columns represented in the structure of the table. Here only one thing we have to ensure, that the values, whatever the values we have given here, it must be in the same order as the columns available in the structure of the table. Okay, before inserting any data or using insert into command, we must keep some points in mind. See here, when values are inputted using insert into command, it is termed as single row insert, since it adds one tuple at a time into the table. Using insert into command, we can insert one row, one tuple at a time only. Okay, so single row insert statement is there. The into clause specifies the target table, and the values clause specifies the data to be added to the new record of the table. The argument values of character data type are always enclosed in double or single quotation mark. Okay, the character data type or argument or values. Column values for the date data type of a column are provided within curly braces or single quotation mark. Date can be given within curly braces or using single quotation mark, which is whichever you can use, or the curly braces or single quotation mark. None values are stored and displayed as null only without any quotes. If you want to insert any null values means if there is no value for any column at a time, then you can insert null value. Then you have to type all capital letters null, N-U-L-L, null. Okay. If the data is not available for all the columns, then the column list must be included following the table name. Suppose you want to insert, there are 5 columns and you want to insert 3 columns. Then you if you are using like this, then you have to mention the column names also before giving values. Okay. When adding a row, only the characters or date value should be enclosed within single quotation mark. Okay, date and character type data. Okay, name like or the character type data or the date, only it should be enclosed within quotation marks. Okay, no numbers should be enclosed within quotation marks. Okay, this is to be kept in mind. Now this is the second way, inserting the data directly into the table. How we can do this? The second form specifies both the columns name and the values to be inserted. Insert into table name, the syntax is like this: insert into table name, then you have to mention here column name. Okay, and then values, you have to write values key clause, and then you have to give the value. Okay, this syntax is used when we want to insert or give values for some columns, for not all the columns. Suppose there are 5 columns and you want to insert 3 values for 3 columns only, then you have to mention the column names like this syntax. Okay, for example, see here, here we are giving you example like this. Second row we are going to insert, then we can use like this: insert into student, roll number, name, gender, marks, DOB. These are the column names. We have mentioned here that only these columns we are going to insert, and then all 5 columns we have given here value. The 2 value is given like this. Okay, 2, name Deep Singh, okay, male, then number 98, and then date of birth like this. Okay, all 5 values is given in like this. Okay, understood? Now this is the third syntax, third variation of insert into command. Inserting data into a specific column. Insert, SQL insert command. The syntax is insert into table name, then column name you have to give, and then values you read. As like previous syntaxes, as like previous. For example, to insert a record into the student table for columns roll number, name, and marks only. Okay, only 3 columns you want to insert. Then what is the query here? Insert into command is given, and then roll number, name, and marks. Only 3 column names have mentioned here. Then only 3 values is to be provided here. 4, and the name is given here, and the marks is given here. Okay, like this. Then what happened to other 2 columns? Okay, though both the columns will get null values automatically, null values. Okay, and later you can update those values also. That is possible. Inserting null values into a table. Now understand how we can insert null values. Fourth value. Okay, if a column in a row has no value or missing value, then column is said to be null or holding null value. Null means unavailable or undefined value. Any arithmetic expression containing a null always evaluates to null. For example, here we are giving you example. Suppose roll number, name, gender, marks and date of birth we have mentioned, all the columns we have mentioned, and we don't have values for marks and date of birth. Then how we can insert row? This is possible like this. In the values clause, you have to give the value for for the column which the value is having. Okay, 12 roll number is having, then name is having, and then gender is having. We have mentioned here all the values, and for marks and date of birth we have mentioned here null values. Okay, NULL you can give, and both the columns will be blanked. Okay, and rest of the values will be inserted in particular row. Then modifying data in a table. This is the next topic, modification of data in a table. So before we learn modifying data in a table, we should do some practicals. Okay, so here we are going to install MySQL in our computer. See how we have to install these things. First, open mysql.org website. Then it will show you like this. You can click on any one of the options, new MySQL 8.0, new MySQL 8.0, like this, anyone. Just I am clicking the first one. Okay, Unicode. Click here and it will show you this option, and here you will see MySQL installer for Windows. Okay, click on go to download page. Okay, this, and then click on the first option, that is download. Okay, and it will ask you to sign up or log in the account, but don't worry, need not to be sign up or need not to be login here. Here you will see the option no thanks, just start my download. Click this option and download will be started. Now downloading already completed. Just click on this option, MySQL installer. Okay, click here. It will open and it will ask you to allow, then click yes, and then MySQL installer will become. It will ask you click no first. Okay, to upgrade click no. Then this MySQL installer will come on the screen. Choose the first option, developer default, and click on next option. Okay, now the following products have failing requirement. MySQL installer to solve this automatically requirements. Click on each item and try and resolve it manually. Okay, check requirements. Status. Oh, whatever the message is given here, MySQL for Visual Studio manual is given here. Don't do that anything, just click on next. One or more product requirements have to be not been satisfied. Those products with missing requirement will not installed or upgraded. Okay, continue. Just click on continue. There is no problem. Okay, now execute. Okay, click on execute. These things are going to be installed. Tick mark will come once it is installed. Once you have installed the MySQL software, then click on start and click on MySQL command line client. Here you will see this box, this window. Okay, now see, here it will ask you to enter the password. Just type the password and just click enter key. You will see this MySQL prompt. Okay, MySQL prompt. Here you have to give the commands. The first and foremost command is to create database. Create database. Okay, and give name, any name, school, encrypt, put the semicolon. Query okay, it will show you query okay. It means the database is created. Okay, now if you want to see the databases, then show databases. You have to write show databases, and it will show you all the database installed in the computer. Here you can see that school database is created. Okay, now to open this database, just click use school. Okay, you have to give use school. It will show you that database is changed. It means database is opened. Now you can create table. Okay, create table student. Now first column is roll. It is integer. Okay, integer. And if you want to make it primary key, just write primary key, comma, and then roll number, then name, and it is varchar type, and you want to give 20 size, then give it 20 size, then name, then gender, character type 1. Okay, and then marks for numeric type, numeric, comma 8, comma 2, or you can give, if you want to give integer type, then integer type you can give integer. Okay, there is no loss. And then last one is date of birth, which is date data type. Now close the bracket and put the semicolon here. Now what happened? This database query okay, it is displaying query okay. It means database table is created. If you want to see the table, just click show, write show tables. It will show you all the tables you have created in the database school. Only one table is there, that is the school student table. If you want to see the structure, then you have to write describe command, describe student. Then it will show you all the details about the table, that there are 5 fields and the type of field is like this. Some are having none values, some are having primary keys like this. These values are given here. Okay, now if you want to insert some rows, there you can insert into command. You can use insert into command, and then table name, that is a student, and then values, and you can give values like this 1, comma, okay, Rahul, comma, and then gender is male, okay, then comma, then marks you want to give 67, okay, and date of birth you want to give like this 2000 slash, okay, then 12 month, and then date that is 14. Okay, so we close the quotation mark and put bracket and then semicolon. Then what happened? Query okay, it is saying that that row record is inserted. If you want to insert more records, just click on the upper arrow button and the whole command will come, and significantly you can change one by one. Roll number 2 you have given, a name you have changed to Preetham, okay, like this, male, and marks you want to change 76, year, month you want to change, then you can change here 06 month, and then date is 23, like this, and then press enter key. The next record will be inserted. Yes, similarly you can insert all the records. If you want to see the records inserted in the table, then select star and from and table name student and semicolon. It will show you all the records you have inserted. Okay, these are the commands.